Avengers Infinity War was absolutely epic, and that's thanks largely to the fact that it was filled with a plethora of amazing characters. Giving them all a decent amount of screen time was always going to be a tough ask, but the Russo brothers managed it brilliantly. So many characters had their own arcs, and they developed in different ways from previous movies. Warning, spoilers ahead. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell to join our notification squad. Without further ado, here are some characters that looked better after Infinity War, and some that looked worse.
Jarvis, sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
Better, Iron Man. Tony Stark has always been a big player in the MCU. His first movie started it all, and he's the flagship character in the franchise, but Avengers Infinity War saw Iron Man's power levels go up several notches. The new nanotechnology housed in Stark's chest allows for the instant creation of pretty much any device he needs, from wings, rockets, blades, lasers, and many more. It even allows his armor to form around his body at any given moment. He's also much tougher and harder to hurt with this new tech, as he was able to go toe-to-toe with the Hulk-like Cull Obsidian and even made Thanos himself bleed. He gained the Mad Titan's respect and gave him a much harder time than the Hulk did, and Thanos had 3 more Infinity Stones when he was fighting Stark.
My turn.
Worse, the Hulk. The Hulk had proven himself to be one of the most formidable individuals in the MCU prior to Avengers Infinity War. He's beaten the likes of Abomination, Loki, a Chitauri Leviathan, and Fenris. He's fought relatively equally with Thor, and he was even prepared to attack the gigantic fire demon Surtur, but Infinity War made him look a lot less formidable. After going up against Thanos early in the movie, a fight in which he was beaten down quite emphatically,
Where's your gun?
he refused to come out for the rest of the film. He wouldn't fight Cull Obsidian and Ebony Maw in New York, and he wouldn't take part in the huge battle in Wakanda, which forced Bruce Banner to don the Hulkbuster armor that was designed to fight against him instead. Better, Thor. As the Asgardian god of thunder, Thor has always been a powerful hero in the MCU, but he came out of Avengers Infinity War looking more powerful and heroic than ever. After initially taking an off-screen beating at the hands of Thanos and his children, Thor survived a Power Stone-induced explosion and a spell floating unconscious in the vacuum of space. He then went on a quest for a weapon that required him taking the force of a star before joining his fellow Avengers and heroes in the Battle of Wakanda. Thor took out hordes of Outriders with ease with his new weapon, but it was what he did to Thanos that was most impressive. Although he didn't finish the Mad Titan off, Thor was able to battle through the full force of all 6 Infinity Stones to ram Stormbreaker into the villain's chest, which was by far the closest anyone has come to killing him. Worse, Vision. Vision severely underperformed in Avengers Infinity War. The android should really be one of the most powerful characters in the MCU. He has a body made from vibranium and an Infinity Stone in his head. He doesn't get much more powerful than that. But you'd think he was a run-of-the-mill robot given his actions in this movie. Not only did he need saving by the human trio of Captain America, Black Widow, and Falcon when he was attacked in Scotland by Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, he also avoided the battle in Wakanda completely when he could have been a major asset to the heroic army. Granted, Thanos was coming for him, but with the likes of Thor, Scarlet Witch, and the Hulkbuster fighting alongside him, the heroes could have been a threat to the Mad Titan.
And get this man a shield.
Better, Captain America. Given that he's essentially just an ordinary human jacked up to the supposed peak of human potential, Captain America has been fighting above his pay grade for years in the MCU. He's fought against the Chitauri, against Ultron and his robot army, and against Iron Man's anti-Sokovia Accords team that included the likes of Vision and War Machine, and he's done so with great success. But he came out of Avengers Infinity War looking even more formidable. Not only was he able to help to save Vision from Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, he also took out legions of Outriders, and most impressively, was even able to block a strike from Thanos himself when the Mad Titan was wielding 5 Infinity Stones. Even though he was using both arms and struggling massively, that's an incredible feat of strength by the super soldier.
Okay, look, the city is flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow.
Worse, Hawkeye. We know Hawkeye wasn't even in Avengers Infinity War, but that's exactly the point here. Previously, Clint Barton has shown up to any scenario or fight he was required in, whether it be Mjolnir's arrival on Earth, the Chitauri invasion, Ultron's assault on Earth, or Captain America's fight against Tony Stark's pro-Sokovia Accords team. And that makes you wonder why he wouldn't show up for the fight against a universe-level threat like Thanos. It was explained that he was with his family, but if Thanos was successful, he might not even have had a family, so it didn't make sense. It may turn out that he was off on a secret mission, but for now, he just looks like he wimped out.
I don't see how that's a party.
Better, Black Widow. Black Widow is certainly a skilled fighter, and like Captain America, she regularly fights above her pay grade, and that's without the help of super soldier serum. She's fought the Chitauri, Ultron's drones, and the likes of Ant-Man when she sided with Iron Man in 2016's Captain America Civil War, but she had to take her showings to new levels in Avengers Infinity War. She was part of the Human Trio, along with Cap and Falcon, who saved Vision from Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, two of Thanos' most trusted soldiers. In fact, it was the hit she landed on Glaive with Midnight's weapon that caused them to flee. She then fought in the battle in Wakanda and killed off many Outriders, as well as facing off with Midnight on equal terms once again.
Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to exit the donut.
Worse, Nick Fury. Nick Fury is known for being prepared for anything. He oversaw the creation of the Avenger Initiative because he knew the world was on the verge of war with extraterrestrial beings, and when extraterrestrial beings attacked, he activated it, and the Avengers defeated Loki and his army. He then faked his own death in 2014's Captain America the Winter Soldier, helped to sabotage Hydra's helicarriers, and enabled information about Hydra's infiltration of S.H.I.E.L.D. to be made public. Then in 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron, he helped the titular team formulate a plan to defeat Ultron before turning up in a helicarrier to save the day in Sokovia. And yet, in Avengers Infinity War, he was nowhere to be seen, and they didn't know about the battle in Wakanda until people were already starting to disappear due to Thanos' finger snap. Poor show, Nick Fury. Poor show.
I have been falling for 30 minutes.
Better, Loki. Loki has alternated between being an outright villain and a semi-decent individual in the MCU, but Avengers Infinity War made him look better than ever before he lost his life trying to do the right thing. After being the villain in both 2011's Thor and 2012's The Avengers, he showed both his good and bad side in 2013's Thor The Dark World, before ultimately siding with his brother in 2017's Thor Ragnarok. At the start of Avengers Infinity War, when Thanos ransacked the ship Loki, Thor, and their allies were on, it looked as though the God of Mischief was ready to join Thanos in his quest to kill half of all life in the universe, but he was actually attempting to kill the Mad Titan. Thanos killed him as a result, and Tom Hiddleston's character died a heroic death.
I am hideous?
You are horrifying to look at, yes.
Worse, Mantis. Mantis didn't really have a lot to do in Avengers Infinity War, and to be fair to her, what was asked of her wasn't an easy task, but given what she's been proven capable of in the past, she didn't cover herself in glory against Thanos. In 2017's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, she was able to temporarily put the planet-sized ego to sleep using her powers, which would suggest they would work on anyone, but she struggled against Thanos. Although the villain was wielding 4 Infinity Stones at the time, none of them were the Mind Stone, so when Mantis tried to put him to sleep, his mind was in no way reinforced.
Mamu, I've come to bargain.
Better, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange showed signs of an increase in power in 2017's Thor Ragnarok. In his brief appearance in that movie, he was able to teleport Thor around the Sanctum Sanctorum, make Loki fall through space for 30 minutes, create beer from nothing, and magically locate Odin. In Avengers Infinity War, he stepped it up a notch, as his power had increased exponentially. He was a good match for the incredibly powerful telekinetic Ebony Maw, one of Thanos' children and most powerful allies. He was able to create dozens of clones of himself, with each one capable of acting independently by casting the images of Econ. He cast the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, which were strong enough to briefly immobilize Thanos. And of course, he was holding his own against the Mad Titan when he had 4 Infinity Stones.
I think it's good, except it sucks. So let me do the plan, and that way it might be really good. Wow.
Worse, Star-Lord. Star-Lord was undoubtedly the character who came out of Avengers Infinity War looking the worst, as his actions cost the lives of 50% of the universe's population. Peter Quill has always been a little rash and irresponsible, but not to the point that it put so many people at risk. When Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Drax, Mantis, and Nebula had combined to subdue Thanos, Quill learned from Nebula that Gamora was dead. Iron Man and Spider-Man almost had the gauntlet removed from that Mad Titan's left hand, but Quill reacted to the news of Gamora's death by physically attacking the villain, which freed him from his predicament and allowed him to keep hold of the gauntlet. It showed how he can let his emotions get the better of him, and although it was somewhat understandable in the circumstances, he should have kept his cool.
That's how it feels!
I'm just a huge fan of the sport.
And that's the end of our video. Did you enjoy it? Which characters do you think came out of Avengers Infinity War looking better than before? Which ones came out looking worse? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to